Oh, now, wasn't that fun? If it gets any more exciting, I'm going to have to go take a nap. But I think I got her back. I think I have us where we need to be. I do believe. All right. However you see the picture, do you hear the sound? Are we ready to rock and roll and get going 30 minutes late today, 33 minutes late, before I come out of the control room? Art says it sounds good, looks good. It's been one of those crazy mornings, hasn't it? Welcome to the world of electronics. All right. I don't know. Every time you think it's going to be just right, you don't change anything yourself. Well, that looks crazy over there. So it looks good. It looks right out there. Okay. That monitor's telling me something different. Hang on a second. I got to get this guy out of here anyway. This is all messed up. What a day. What a day. It's not the right background. It's still not right. What in the world is going on today? Oh, me. I can't win today. When I thought I had it right, then we get that. Now let me wait and see if that pops up looking right. It looked like it was supposed to be there. I'm waiting for Facebook to regenerate and see if I get the right screen coming out at you guys. Because right now I'm seeing the black craziness. All right, so looks like I need to adjust those keys, and that's not there. That's wrong. Oh, man. Yeah, I know. I see. Let's see. It looks right in the software. It looks horrible out there. I do apologize. It is a mess. It's bizarre because what I see in the control room here looks right, but what I see out to the world looks wrong. And it's very aggravating at the moment. Very, very aggravating. And because you guys are waiting for me to do something intelligent. And so far I have not succeeded in doing something intelligent today. I don't get it. It's showing right on the stream. Going out. Yes, if it fit on a lathe. So I'm really confused. Are you seeing? I know this sounds silly that I shouldn't understand, but I don't. Are you seeing the gray wall and all and the lathe looking good on like on my feed to Facebook? Maybe I need to refresh my Facebook feed because that's what I'm looking at for an outside reference. Um, it's kind of tough when you. My control room assistant is off today, as you guys know. Let's see. And I had high hopes for getting off to a bang start today. All right. I think. Okay, so it looks normal now. All right. Well, then I'm gonna come around and we're gonna try and charge on here. I appreciate the patience from everybody. Um, Yahoo! 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 Welcome to the world of live streaming. Isn't it great and fun and all that good stuff? Um, you know what it is? I ran a brand new cable out here today so that I wouldn't have any frame drops and buffering and all that. Um, of course, I made a mistake there. I bought a 100-foot cable and I needed 150, so I've got it strung like a banjo wire between the router and out here. But I made it work, so maybe it got mad when I changed wires and things like that. I don't know. Um, I do apologize again for the delay. I see now on my Facebook feed, which runs, see it's 20 seconds late. For what I see, that everything looks normal now. So we will try and proceed as originally planned. Thank you, Lan. You know, you gotta do what you gotta do when things don't work. You can't get flustered and frustrated and just throw up your hands and walk away. You got to stay after it. Just like in turning, if things aren't going just quite right, you got to stay with it. I need a sip of soda here real quick, so I'm going to pop this over there just so I can get my whistle wetted after all that fun. All right, so I think I'll do my intro again so we can cut all that other stuff out. Good morning, this is Bradley McAllister. Welcome to Spiracraft's Monday Methods. Looking for a good day today with Chromacraft's Chromagilt, the Nick Agar Signature Series decorative metallic paste. That's what we're going to be working with today. And we are ready to go. Okay, good deal. How's that for a recovery? All right. Let's see. I've got what have I got? Let me show you. I've got a variety of things here. I've got a variety of ways to show you how to use the Chromagilt. And it's probably going to be easiest for me to show you in the overhead. And all my tubes are not brand new. It comes in, what's the best way to show that? Comes in little squeeze tubes. And there are 6 colors right now. And there are some new colors coming. And I actually have some of the precursors to the new colors. Right now there is Viking Silver, Nordic Bronze, Antique Brass, Celtic Copper, and Saxton Gold. And today I also have, and I'll get in trouble, but that's nothing new. I also have a Gold Pearl and a Royal Blue that are going to be coming out. So I'm going to play with the different colors here today and show you some different techniques on how we can use this accent paste. I shouldn't call it accent paste because that's the other product. This is the accent paste from Chromacraft, which is being depreciated or phased out slowly. So this is a metallic effects paste, Chromagilt metallic effects paste. A couple of little projects. I've got this one. This is one that I've had around for a while. And I'm going to show you how I did this today. I've got a couple of pieces staged right here. This is using another product also called Web Effects, and I'll show you in the overhead. So we can put a texture. This effects paste is great for anything with texture, right? So I used the Web Effects to put the texture on this piece, and then I painted it black, and then I used the gold Chromagilt on there. Now, one of the best ways to demonstrate and test, go down to the box store and get yourself these little molding strips, decorative molding strips. They've got the texture already punched into them. and paint them black. Just put a shot of black spray paint on there. Black lacquer dries really fast. And then you can test ahead of time before you get into your project what your colors and your combinations are going to look like. And there's two ways that it can work, and I painted a number of strips up. We can have the coloration be on the top surface and the second color be underneath, or we can pack the cream down into the texture and take it off the top. So we can work either way. I did do a couple strips in other colors today. I did one in blue and one in white to also show some of these new colors that we're coming out with. I also have a piece, here's a little piece of whatever, and I wanted to show how we can, it doesn't have to be textured in maybe the traditional sense, so it can be profiled. So in this piece, where's my magic poke or pointer here? That's going to stay there. You get my all ever important ice pick, and I'm going to dye this piece. I will dye a color. So we'll dye the whole piece, and then the colors will be down in the grooves, the dyed colors, and then we can highlight all these higher profiles here. So this will be a fun piece, and we'll dye it up first, or very early. And then I have another piece here. I am not a texture wheel person with the texturing tools, but I did put some texture on a piece this morning. It's one of the projects, one of the techniques that I need to work on. But I did put a simple texture, spiral texture here and here, with a flat area here and here. And I want to dye this black as well. So we're going to dye two pieces up. I think we'll dye these pieces up first. We'll put some dye on there, give them a chance to dry. Because we put a dye or a paint in as a background. And then we add the gilt paste. I keep trying to say accent paste, but I'm going to break myself of that habit. We put the chroma gilt effect paste on the top, so we have whatever color underneath. So let's get some dye on these two guys, and we're going to do different colors on these so that they can be drying a little bit, and then we can get to those in a touch very shortly. So this one I'm going to go ahead and do in black, and I've already got. I had so many other things ready today. You know, usually I'm fumbling around looking for everything, and today I got my cups out. I got my brushes ready. I found theoretically everything I need, which is what I'm usually fumbling for, and I get a technical error, electronic technical error. So, go figure. This is live. As I was thinking about how I want to explain to people, I'm going to write it up somewhere, that Monday Methods is not a scripted and rehearsed and edited program. It's a live stream. Whatever happens, happens. And especially in the turning aspect of things or working with things, when things go wrong for all of us when we're working in a shop. And this is no different. And I don't mind when things go wrong. Matter of fact, I think it helps people understand the problem-solving process. So I make no qualms about and no apologies from a turning standpoint when things happen, because that's actually what happens to everybody. If I was to edit everything out and just show this as a scripted edited piece, not that I'm not going to make those, believe me, I am, it would be different, because you would never see how do you recover from an issue, a failure, so on. So I like Monday Methods to be just what it is, the way it works, you know, flaws and all, because that's part of it. Facebook users asking, what is the color already on that piece? It was black paint. It was actually black lacquer paint in this area right here, and you can see how it's shiny because it's already the fibers are already sealed. So I'm going to put another quick coat on here. This is just a piece of scrap I had around. And this is the Chromacraft wood dye, the alcohol-based wood dye. And I don't know if you saw on the post, and I put the wrong date on. Thank you, Jeff, for pointing that out. Everything in the Spirocraft shop which is about to be changed. I'm turning the new one on this week. Everything in the colorant category today is 15% off. And I believe the code I created is CC15. So anything that pops up in the colorant category, that's going to be the dyes, the paints, the chroma gilt, the accent pastes, resin tints, lots of different things. They're all 15% off. Just go to the site, the spiracraft.com, click on shop, and click on the colorant category. And for today, everything is 15% off. It's one of the things I've been trying to remember to do is on Monday Methods, offer discounts for whatever we're doing on Monday Methods. All right, so this is whatever this piece of maple, and I'm going to put some indigo blue on it, and then we'll do a different color. We'll do like a gold or something. I just want to show you how to do the contrast. I might need a little bit more than that, and I'm going to put my gloves on in a minute. Don't worry. I know I always get in trouble for not having my gloves on, but I'm not getting messy yet. And I'm also going to show you, I think, to have things drying how, and I'll show you this web effects. I think I'll do the web effects as well to be letting it dry before we start putting the chroma gilt on. So this is this beautiful indigo blue. And all we're really after is what's going to be down in the grooves. That's where that color is going to stay. And then we're going to put a different color here on the outside, up on the highlights. Now this has not been sealed, and it is beneficial when working with the metallic paste, the chroma gilt. It doesn't hurt to have your work sealed, a coat of sealer. Now, I'm not worrying about it too much because this dye has a sealer in it. It's got some shellac and a little bit of resin sealer. So it'll help seal the wood as well. Now, I didn't sand this guy, but you'll get the idea. I do love this indigo blue. Okay, so that's taken care of for there. And we'll set it off to the side to dry, along with that one. All right. We'll keep this stuff handy. And wipe down my little work table here, because I'm working on the lathe. Now, for the texture, as in this, like we have in this piece, which is the chroma gilt, the texture, I've got two pieces over here, two bowls. One of them has just been painted black and there's no texture on it yet. And I want to show you how I spray the texture. And then I have a second one that already has the texture I did this morning out there almost in the rain. So, come here. So this is just a couple of, kind of beater bowls. It's just plain bowl, and I just painted it black, flat black, or lacquer black. It's kind of shiny in a few spots. But I just wanted the background to be underneath there. And this is the second one, and this one we can go ahead and texture. This has been textured now with the web effects, which this is the web effects spray can effect, and it's really cool. So once you spray the web effects on, then you paint it black again or whatever other color you might want. And when we put our chroma gilt cream on, we're only going to highlight the tops of the texture, okay? So to give you the short on this, there's no good way to do this without making a mess. So I'm just going to do it. I think I'll put a couple of paper towels on my lathe. You need a lot of room. I actually normally will do this outside to spray the web effects because it's like silly string is the way it works. Hopefully my fan doesn't blow that off. And I'll just set this down here for a second. So let me get my gloves. Where did I hide my gloves? They're probably in the over here in the box. I've hidden them for myself. There they are. We'll use several of them today. I'm trying to recover from the fluster of the morning of things not working. You know, what you gonna do, right? So get on our latex gloves. Okay, we'll keep these just handy right over here. All right, web effects. Shake her up real good. The nozzle on the web effects is also directional. You can have it go in flat, as you can see that, or we can turn it straight up and down, whichever way you want. And what we want to do is just build up a texture. I know I'm zoomed in a little tight. And I usually do, say, 2 coats, 2 different runs. But we'll stop right there. We'll leave it at that, I think. Let me turn this around, see if I can't get a little bit more on this side. It was drying really slow outside today. And so this will put the texture on the piece. There we go. And I'm going to let that sit for just a sec. Let that dry for a second. I'm going to put a second coat on. And then I'll set it off to the side and let it be drying. And then I'll show you how we'll just put black spray paint on it. And I think after I spray this, I'll go ahead and do the chroma gilt on the other one as kind of our first little piece here. So this is a great way to use up, say you got you turned a bowl and it just doesn't look very good, or it's junky, had torn out end grain that you just couldn't fix, it's not going to sand out, you burned some lines in it with the heel of your tool, something like that. It's a great way to resurrect the bowl, save it for something else. So I'm going to find a place to stick this guy away. Over here. Out of the way. And we're all good. All right, let's see. That looks pretty good. You can see for this, for the most part, I'm going to put my little tabletop back up here. And I'll take you to the overhead. So when you have any questions at all about what I'm up to here, just holler out. So the other one I had done in gold, and I've got my silver. I haven't seen the white pearl yet, or gold pearl. I'm going to use the gold pearl. Let's see what it looks like. Brand new, hasn't been opened. Okay. Well, I know it's gold, but it's gold pearl. I want to use a different color because I've got 2 gold ones already. I'm going to go with the silver on this and just see what it looks like. And there's nothing that says you can't do multiple colors. We can do a silver, and then we could do a gold, and we could do another gold. So I love layering when I'm doing textures and colors on textures and colors in general. I love to layer multiple colors because you really get a unique, deep effect and a look from it that you might not otherwise get. So the way we work with this stuff, with the chroma gilt, is whichever finger is going to be your main finger, load the opposite finger, like say your thumb. And you're just you don't need much. So I'm just going to kind of load some up on there. And then I'm going to take my other index finger and just take a very little bit, and I'm just going to wipe it down even thinner right between my fingers. because we want just a very light coat to go over this. We just want to highlight. So you can see that's just what's wiped down on a glove. Now let me see if maybe the light's making that kind of shiny. We'll go to the side here. Light's shiny on everything today. Maybe silver was a bad choice for me. Again, I come in and I load my finger up again. There you go. There you can see. So it is the silver. The light is shining on it pretty good. Load a little bit more off of my thumb. And just lightly going over the top. Okay? And that's really, in this particular case, it's quite effective and quite simple. Yeah, your finger is your palette. And again, I just load up. You see I've got it loaded up on my thumb there. And then rub it between your thumb and your forefinger of your other hand. And you can use your thumb as well, but you can see I got a little heavy there. So it's very, very easy to do. And I'll grab a little more. It doesn't take much. A tube goes a long, long way. And when I first started working with it, I made the mistake, and I'll bet other folks will too. You tend to use too much at first. And so you find that you just need a very little teeny bit. Okay, let me go back to the end camera. And oh, come on, change. See, this is the thing, I end up with colors all over my camera changer. I'll hold this down. So very easy to get a great color effect. And we'll go all the way around this thing real quick. With very little effort. Oh, see, I got too thick right there. That's my bad, because I didn't, what happened there, that's why I love showing you when mistakes, I didn't rub between my fingers and thin that back down, so then I got too much material on. So the light touch with just a little bit of product material is the key. Now, if I didn't like it, let's say I could come back where that's too thick and just shoot it with some black, shoot some black over it again with a black lacquer, and then hit it again, and so it'd be easy to repair that section. All right, it's not the end of the world. You haven't ruined it. You haven't messed it up. You just made it a little heavy. Quick coat of paint over top of it. Okay, and you'd be all good. So we're on the end camera right now, which is zoomed in pretty tight. And I'll show you on the overhead. Okay, and then I'll turn over to the front camera. There we go. And so I hold it without it falling off. So quite simple, quite easy, a great effect. I'm going to walk this around to the front so you get to see the whole thing a little bit better in the front camera as it tries to focus on it. So quite simple to do, real easy. I'm going to set that guy off somewhere, let it be drying. All right, so that was my silver. I'm going to change gloves. I know I'm going to go through a lot of gloves. Let's see if I can wipe this off with these gloves. I hate changing gloves. If I can get enough off where I'm not going to contaminate, and I might have to just change gloves. What I want to do is show you a couple more techniques on our little sample pieces here. One thing we can do, I'm going to work the material down into the texture. and then with a toothbrush, and then take off the excess. Okay? And it looks like I'm going to change gloves. I'll go through quite a few gloves today, but that's all right. That's not the end of the world. At Harbor Freight, they're inexpensive. I'm looking forward to, like I say, there's about 6 more colors that are coming out. I actually have them listed on the new website, even though they're not quite available. But since I was in there building, I've been going like a madman on the new website, the new Spirocraft, because the woodworking shows start on Friday. And I'm going to have the new website turned on. I might even show you guys a sneak peek today of the new website. I've got it pulled up over in another computer that I can punch up into the feed. But we'll do that right at the end. I'll just give you a little sneak peek. I'm going to have it on this week. I won't say what day because I'm not exactly sure. Okay, let's put the cat back on our silver for the moment. And that's the blue. I'm saving the blue for the white. Okay, let's go with the antique brass. What do you think? Go to the overhead. I've got my little stick here. So I'm just going to squeeze some onto the piece. Take an old toothbrush. And I say, these are, you get this little molding, it's cheap, it comes in 8-foot sections. It's a great way to test your color theories or what you want to do, what kind of combinations you're looking for. So we've got that worked down all the way down into all the grooves now. Need to keep my paper towels up here close too somewhere. And then we'll take it off, the excess off the top. You will have to change the rag over a couple of times because as it picks it up, it keeps spreading it around. And then you just determine how much you want to go away. You see, I got it from my glove on there. So now we have our black again, and then we have our highlight color as a filler down inside. So you just put on a little bit, use a toothbrush, work it down in there, wipe the excess off the top, and a whole different effect. All right, now I want to do that on I want to do something with the blue and the white as well. I have these test pieces, so we're going to set that one off. Hopefully this paint's dry. I think I'm going to use the white. I'm thinking out loud here. And the pearl blue. Let's crack open the pearl blue. Because with the original initial color palette, black was the best choice of backgrounds. And now with these other colors, I'm trying to put a little bit less on this time so I don't have to wipe off as much. With these newer colors that are coming at us, we have different color combinations available to us now. Maybe just a tick more on my brush. That'll be good. There's some beautiful colors. This blue, there's an amethyst. There's a black. I don't remember them all off the top of my head. Now it'd be interesting to see just how this works, because you know this blue against a stark white's a pretty strong contrast. But let's see what we get. So this paint is also, this was an enamel paint. It didn't dry, it's not super dry. I didn't have any blue lacquer. So it's probably, it looks like it's kind of grabbing a little bit, but we'll get the idea here. Lacquer would have been a better choice because this paint hasn't completely dried. So that makes for an interesting hat, and actually there's some gold underneath there, which makes kind of interesting look. This was gold before, and what happened is I've wiped off the white paint because it wasn't really dry yet, and you see some of that gold come through. But there's nothing wrong with that. Do you use thinner on a rag? Yes, you would use mineral spirits, which I do not have any mineral spirits in here, if you wanted to, but you need to be really careful. Land with the mineral spirits, with putting thinner on a rag, because if you put too much on, it needs to be really just a dry damp. If you put too much on, you run the risk of washing it out of the textures underneath. If you flood it, if that makes sense. So make sure that it's wrung out and just enough to take it off the surface. All I've got in here is denatured alcohol and lacquer thinner, and I think both of those would probably be too strong for doing this. A real dry rag of mineral spirits would be the best choice to work with for that. But that's a great question, lad. Okay, let's see. Let's try some gold as a highlight on the blue. All right, so instead of rubbing it down, we're going to rub it on top this time. And actually copper and blue. Strange combination. Facebook usually you can't see. Lan asked, do you use thinner on a rag? So if you look in the comment column over, I don't know, you're on Facebook, Facebook user. Look over, expand the screen to where you see the comment column. Be the big white column on the right. Once you expand to like a full screen, you'll get the comment column over on the right. And you should be able to see all the comments. They should be coming in from everybody. Because that's how I'm watching them pop up, both on Facebook and over on my comment thing. So try that for seeing that. But thank you for pointing it out, because if you're not seeing it in the comments, then you don't know what the question was, and I made the assumption that everybody sees the comments. So that's something I need to work on. All right. Stop coming out. I don't want any more. So I've loaded my thumb, and we'll go back to the overhead. And I got a little blue on here. Just a little teeny bit. Get it between my fingers. So you can see it. There's my thumb. That's my palette. And I just load up my other finger. A little bit more. And you can do this with any kind of, it doesn't have to be wood. I'm working out here in wood today. Ceramics, concrete, plastic. I'm going to show you on resin. We're going to do this on some resin as well. If you're a resin turner, and you can actually, believe it or not, you can texture resin with your texturing tools, and it works. So, pots, floral pots with anything that's embossed, textures on chairs, on furniture, The front of dressers, if you want to highlight that. Your metal, lots of different things. Now, I'm not going down in that blue channel. You can if you want to. But again, it's actually very easy to work with. Super easy. Okay. I think since I'm already loaded up in Celtic copper here, one thing, here's what I want to do. I'm going to switch and bring over my piece on for the lathe. And I'm going to put this piece on the lathe, and I'm going to spin it for this outer section. I'm trying not to get this all over the place on everything. I just got it all over that. There's no way I'm going to not get this all over everything. I've already just made a mess. So let me get out of these things. All right, and I'll put you on the end camera. Oh, let me adjust that end camera. So far we've been using it with the piece sitting still. Now for this, I can add it with the piece turning. It looks like when it got wet from the dye, it warped a little bit on me. Let me double check it the way it's sitting in the chuck. Because it's really thin on the outer edge, and when the dye got on there, it warped a little bit. Oh well. You get that. Fresh glove. Load up my thumb. Now, in this case, I'm just working with one hand, so I'm trying to keep one hand clean. Theoretically, that should have stayed nice and flat for me, but it didn't. So if I don't like the way it's working with it spinning, I'll just do it manually. The trick is not having too much on your finger. Because I want a solid band of color here on the outside. Now, had it stayed round or flat for me, that would have worked out a whole lot better. But it literally comes out to a knife edge on the edge. And so when I put the dye on, it made it warp. Not the end of the world. So you notice I haven't gone back to the tube yet, other than that one time, I think. I just keep taking this color off of my fingers here. Catch the outer edge. There we go. Now, one of the things to keep in mind is a finish. You want to put a finish over this when you're all done. And the WRU-20, the water-based urethane, is a great finish. It doesn't have a sheen to it, so it's not shiny, it's not satin, it's just kind of there. You can't really tell that you put a finish on it, and yet so it seals it up and locks it in pretty well. Now, let's go with... I'm going to have fun and put antique brass against the copper. Or unless I change my mind here, let's go with the gold pearl. I'm really wanting to try this gold pearl. Okay. So we get out another fresh glove. Now this section is raised above the others. It's higher, and I did that on purpose so that I could do this two-tone kind of effect. Now these grooves are fairly small, and I'm trying not to have any get down in the grooves. They probably could have been a little bit deeper. Again, running the texturing tool is not my big strength. And I did just lightly burnish this with the chips. It's not been sanded or anything like that. Now the center is also smooth, and I'm going to replicate this color just for fun in the center. And I'll turn the lathe on for that. I got a little outside there. And I'll go the other direction because some of the grain is kind of standing up, so we get it to fill in both ways. And in this case, you know, I want a nice solid coat, to look like gold leaf. So I may put two coats on. I may come back and put a second coat on after the first one dries, so I get nice solid coloration. Because right now, as it's wet, you know, I tend to wipe it off. So I'll let this first one dry, and then we'll come back. Unless you like spirals. It's interesting how that looks out of focus on Facebook. Okay. Now let's make a real big change. Let's put silver in this intersection. Again, this is not the greatest texture. It's a very busy texture. I'm no whiz with the texturing tool. I'm the first to admit. One of these days I'll get around to learning how to use it. Actually, you know what? Let's try. I'm going to try the blue. That new blue. I'm going to try the new blue pearl in here. Probably going to make a big mess with it, but that's all right. And I will do this with it off the lathe. We'll put it in overhead like that. So that black and gold actually looks pretty cool by itself. I love that center section. That was the new gold pearl. That is a cool looking color. And I need a set of gloves one size smaller to have a real good tight fit on the end of my finger. These are Harbor Freight specials. And as you can see, I get a little bit of baggage on the end of my finger. So if you have a true good skin tight fit on the end of your finger, it's going to be a lot better. So I'm going to stretch that back as much as I can so that I have a better fit. And in this case, I'm going to load up my thumb here and just keep the one finger. I got too much on my finger now. I need more fingers. Maybe too late. Because if I get too much on that loader on my finger, it's gonna get down in the grooves. So just very lightly across the tops here. I like this blue and gold. I see a lot of blue and gold in my future here. Again, the texture on the wood is not the greatest texture because of my texture tool abilities. And also, you may notice, or not, I left a little bit of a flat. So I turned a little bit of a flat here to stop the texture from going all the way over to the other side. So I like that color. I love this blue. And I'm using up just about what I've got on my fingers loaded up here. That's just about all of it. Now, I think one thing you could do, you could take a detail paint. If you wanted to come and you could paint that line. You could leave it black, or you could paint this line right here, what is black now. You could paint that a color and have an interesting effect there in your color transitions. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to try a little mix. I'm going to mix on my finger. I love to experiment, guys. I've got blue on my finger already. I'm going to take a little bit of the gold, pearl gold, just a touch, and I'm going to mix the blue and the gold together. All right? Nothing says you can't make your own colors. You can combine all these colors. All right? And I'm going to take a little teeny bit more. So now I have a blend here of two colors, and I don't know if I can get down in that groove right there or not, but I want to try and put a ring, and this may not work, just right here as a highlight, right around the very edge, right where that transitions from blue to black to gold. Just a little bit of a highlight right there, very subtle. I'm curious to see what this looks like when I look back up in the camera. So you can see just a little teeny bit of color there. And if I switch over to the end camera, which has a little bit better color contrast on it. So the blue is a pearl and the gold is a pearl. So that looks really cool. I like those colors. That's pretty neat. The copper on the outside, well, okay, so maybe not so cool. So that being said, and since I've got blue and we like the blue, let's do this. Let's just have some fun. Since the day started off so bad, I'm going to just make the best of it. And with the piece still not back in the chuck, but off the lathe, I'm going to come back out here and go over this copper with blue just to see what kind of, and I don't mind if the copper shows through a little bit. I'm kind of looking for a layered effect. And it may be the worst thing I've ever done. It may be kind of interesting. The other thing I think I might experiment with is I might take the toothbrush and scrub lines into the this outer ring. And if I don't like it, well, I can always take some black paint when it's dry and just paint this outer edge black and come back and try again. That's the beauty, is you're never 100% committed. You can always make modifications. Even if you had to start over from scratch on the same piece, just paint it black again, or paint it whatever base color you had, and try it again. That's what's so nice about it. You're not committed. Don't change the texture necessarily, or you could return it if you don't like the way the texture was. And come in and do it again. I mean, you can do your testing on your little test strips, like we have here. But you can always come back and do other things. So what's interesting is, because I'm going to just rub this around for yucks since I'm here and clean off my fingers. There's some natural texture in the outer band because it was just kind of loosely, roughly sanded. There, just for fun. Just doing some highlights there. And I'm going to take a rag now and see if I can wipe down the bulk of the blue off that outer and just have it in the little teeny texture of the fibers of the wood. Let's see what happens here. It may all come off and just be a little subtle color there. It's going to leave just a hint. So, experimenting, and so my gold or my copper wasn't dry yet, and I used my fingernail there. This is what's so fun about working with these kind of things, is you can experiment to your heart's content and find new ways to have certain looks that you haven't had before. So as you can see here, I'm leaving just a little, a little small amount of this blue on the outside. And it gives it just a hint of that color. The only limitation with any of this type of work is your imagination. And if it doesn't do what you wanted the first time, we'll drop back and do it again. Like I said, we'll let it dry overnight, put another coat of paint on it, and start again. If you're working on developing a concept, if you will, for a color grouping, then this is a little scrap of wood, right? This is just nothing. This is no work of art. And work out some of your patterns and your colors and save them and just set them off on the wall for reference. So this is kind of giving us a little aged, strange patina, a blue bronze patina out here. And that's another thing you could do. You could come in with the rustina. And let's say you wanted to do you could rustina this outside edge into a patinaed finish in brass, patinaed brass, or you can mix and combine these different types of effects on the same piece. There's no rules in my book anyway about what you can and can't do. So that I love those colors, the color combinations. If my spiral pattern was perfect in there, that would really be stellar. That's again something just for me to work on a little bit. Now what do we do to finish that? Again, we let it dry overnight, and then I coated the WRU-20. We'll leave a finish on it. It'll seal it and protect it so it won't get scratched up because it's a polyurethane. It's a water reducible urethane. And put that on the next day. Let that dry. And your piece is fine. You won't even notice that it was there. Okay? So that was that one. Now I still have this guy that I've got in the violet. I think it was violet, or what color was it? The indigo, excuse me, the indigo blue. And I want to leave the black lines in there, and I want to go ahead and color this up. Now this is pretty tough. It's rough. It's not been sanded at all. So it's got a lot of texture to it. And I'm just kind of curious to see how this looks when we do it. And let's see if this chuck will hold this just as a third hand without having to change jaws. I don't think it's going to. I can see right now it's not going to. No. That won't hold that, so we'll just have to do it. Let me change chucks here real quick. Because I think it would be easier to do this with a third hand. So I think I'll throw I've got the Vic markers holding another piece, so I think I'll throw the easy chuck on real quick like here with a small set of jaws. And we'll hold on to this guy. Again, with it not being sanded, it might be a little more texture than maybe you had in mind. Again, I just grabbed it real quick this morning as I was getting going. You know me, trying to work on something else. Show the piece. Oh, you couldn't see the piece? Okay, we'll put the piece right there, Art. We're using our imagination. It's a good thing you guys keep me where I need to be, because sometimes I just get off in Netherland. Now you're good. There, that actually turns fairly true at that. And we'll turn this around so you can see to about here without me having to just, well, here's what I can do. I don't know what I was thinking. I'll just move the headstock. It's easier, much easier than moving the camera. I'm telling you, when the morning starts off wrong, the other piece. Show the piece, the other piece. That piece? Is that the piece you couldn't see? Was I off in La La Land that far? You never know with me. Sometimes I'm way too far ahead on my own, for my own good. Got an inch. I mean, I love the shimmer in there. I'm hoping that's the piece you're referring to. If not, let me know which one. That's what I love about the live video platform. Which, by the way, for the woodworking shows coming up, it will be the live video platform. So all the seminars that I do with the woodworking shows, which starts on Friday, if I haven't mentioned that. And yeah, I'm ready. The educational seminars I'll be doing with the woodworking shows, it will be a live video format, live conference. So you can ask me questions, and I can hear you, and I can see you. You won't have to type in the column. Yeah, I'm glad I finally got the right one. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't realize I hadn't shown it. And I wish we could do that all the time here in the Facebook and the YouTube land, but it's just they don't have that going. And the only other way to get it to everybody that wants to see is we have to go through registration out here to do that. And then you can't just drop in. You got to kind of plan ahead. So, all right. Blue and gold. We're working with blue. We're working with blue and gold. And The gold pearl. I like that gold pearl. I'm going to try the gold pearl on this. And we're just going to see what happens. Again, this is not very smooth. You know, it hasn't been sanded. Although it wouldn't hurt me to sand it. But it would take some of the color away. But the color, all I really need is the color inside there. Now, one thing I could do would be to seal this as well. And I should have done that, but I didn't. And we don't have that much time. So we'll just work with this as it is. Fresh set of gloves. I'm going to put 2 gloves back on again this time. Okay. And you can see my hands going underneath there. So I'm going to load this up on my other hand. And this is the Egyptian gold again. And then I'm going to let this turn on the lathe. It's actually going in reverse. And I can see right away that if I had sanded it and or sealed it, we'd get a much better finish. I just didn't have the time this morning. And I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So you can see how we kind of get all that texture, which if you want the texture, that's fine. But if you don't want texture, it doesn't work so well. So let's go ahead and we're just going to, like I say, I love this because it's live. If I want to change formats here a little bit, it's not going to take the color out of my grooves, so that's fine. I'm going to smooth this guy up. And you'll see a marked difference. And again, a sealer would go a million miles also to help with this. Now I'll take my clean toothbrush. I just happen to have a clean toothbrush here. And clean all that out of the grooves. Ah, it wasn't clean after all. It's gold. Ah! Now I really messed up, didn't I? Now I lost my blue grooves. How's that for a bad day? Well, I'll show you how we'll fix that. We'll put our blue grooves back in there. It's all about the recovery, right? Where you been, Dad? I've been back for 10 minutes. Just teasing, Dad. We've been here about, I don't know, probably 30 minutes, 45 minutes maybe. Get this dye to dry here on the outside real quick. Okay, let's try this again. Like I need a little bit more material. To work with here. Again, the sealer, a coat of the urethane sealer would really seal those fibers up and make this smooth. Because we still have some texture down in the wood itself. Which makes you, what's bad is when, like right in, like say right in here, the wood is not completely sanded smooth yet. And so you push a little harder with your finger, which makes you get the color down into the grooves where you don't necessarily want it. Now the next thing I'm going to try over here, just on these high points, I'm going to do just a little highlight right on the very tops of them. That's another way we can go. And the same thing with any of these other areas. If you just wanted to highlight a line, just for a little bit of color. You can. If you want to fill in a whole area, you can do that too. Lots of different ways to play with. Lots of different ways. All right, one more. Oh, here's another one I wanted to show you. I got this stuff all over me. Trying to figure out how to not to get it on everything. If you are into doing little buttons on your work, you've seen these, the buttons, the bolts. These are, wood screw plugs, and it's pretty popular to put these onto your work. You get these at the home store or Hobby Lobby, anything like that. And they're just these simple little, you drill the hole when you're putting screws in. So you can take these guys and you can pre-color them before you ever install them in your piece. People put them around the edges of bowls. And then you don't have to worry about trying to do it once it's on the piece. You do the edges. Get you a little pair of needle nose or something to hold that. And you make yourself a set of gold buttons that drop right into your work. Do one more since I got enough gold on my fingers here. I knew there was something else there that I wanted to show you. Put a little color on the chuck. My chuck is beat up enough, Art. It has a hard enough life as it is. So those are another thing that you can do in any of the colors. Real simple. I wanted to show you on resin. So let's see. I got this little piece of resin right here. And even though this doesn't have any texture on it, I'm going to actually put a little texture on it with some 100 grit sandpaper. Just on that upper section. Switch it to the end camera. So if you've got a piece of resin that wasn't the greatest thing in the world, you can come in and this will work on that as well. Let it dry, put on a second coat. I'll show you in the overhead. So there's a lots of uses, millions of uses on this. And what I would do with that is I would turn that back after the fact, or maybe even just come in here. Let me take my gloves off, and I might try and clean up an edge there. Put these little guys off to the side. If you had your tool rest up, it'd be a little bit easier to hold it steady. There we go. So when we get it out of the inside here, a lot of different things. It can work on a lot of different mediums. There is no limit to the mediums. And I think, I know this has probably been the most popular look today of that piece. That worked out pretty well. And let's see. The other thing I wanted to show you here. Move this guy out of the way. So this is our piece that we had sprayed the web effects on. And it's dry now, dry enough. And we're just going to throw a little bit of a black lacquer on here, real quick and easy. I won't do much because I don't want to asphyxiate myself in a closed room. Now, one thing you can do is you can also, if you want to pre-engineer, so I used white on black here, and then we could put whatever color on the top. And if you wanted to also sand through, you could get 3 colors. So if you painted it black like this, put your chroma gilt over all the high spots, let it dry. I know I was on the wrong camera again. There it is, sprayed black. My bad. Let it dry. Put your chroma gilt on. Let the chroma gilt dry, and then just very lightly sand the outside as it's put it in instead of bowl jaws maybe, or reverse chuck it, and sand off just the highlights, the highest points. You would get that third color where the web effects is. So you could have multiple colors coming through pretty easily. So pretty fun things to do. And I'm going to set this back off to the side. And again, here's our first piece from when we first started today. And you can see there the where I messed up. All right, so let's fix that. This is dry enough that we can fix this now. You don't have to spray the whole thing, just a little bit of it, just enough to take care of that. And I'm going to stick this right over here in front of the fan for a second and give it the fast dry. I got a fan right here, and we're going to dry that real fast. And we're going to come back and hit that with some silver, and that'll be the repair on that. It will take just a moment to do it. So let's see, it looks like it's just about 1 o'clock, even though I started late. While that's drying, anybody got any kind of special questions? I'll look over here at the chat column monitor and see what kind of questions you got. I know what I was going to do while we're letting that dry. I'm gonna give you guys a sneak peek. It looks like there's only about 8 people here. I'm gonna give you a sneak peek at the new website. What do you think? I'm gonna jump over into the control room real quick, and that should pop up that website with a goofy looking guy on there. Pay no attention to that video. It's just something that's sitting there. This is the new Spirocraft site, and there will be an introduction video right there. And the main screen, first page, it just scrolls forever and ever with the different products that are in this new store. And every product will eventually have a video. Everywhere you see the little video queue, there will be a video for it. I've been putting products in here like a madman. And there are I've got a couple of the Chromacraft videos in. So this just scrolls the entire 500 items on the home page, on the front page. And if you want to get back to the top quick, you hit that little arrow right over there, and it will take you back up to the top. Categories across the top here. Where's my mouse? Take you into subcategories. So if we go into colorants here, then we get to colorant subcategories into here. And let's say Nick Agar showing, I've got Nick Agar's video showing the Chroma Gilt. So if we go into Chroma Gilt and click on the product, and that's only in this series, click on that. And I got a little video here, and they're going to be in.
Hi, I'm Nick Agar, and this is Chroma Gilt.
vMix.
I'm going to show you
Not vMix, excuse me, Vimeo. So you don't see
in this instance,
all the
Viking
YouTube
silver,
junk
very cool color,
on
easy
top of
to
the
apply.
screens.
Just popping a small amount on my fingertip using the.
And so every product will have a video.
Rubbing it on the surface of the texture of the wood that I previously.
And then you have your products below.
Chromacraft wood dye.
And you can click on the product and get a bigger picture there. Everything's in drop downs now. So you choose your colors that you want, and that'll load that to your cart. Descriptions are down below. Another thing I've just started doing last night with some products I think I did it in the Steady Rest systems. And I'll show you guys this. When you jump into a product that has variants, and these all have variants, when we click on an option, like say the riser block, if we click on the riser block option over here, it brings up another sub-description, more details about the product. So I'm real pleased with the way this has all been coming together. It's taken me forever to get everything there. And this is, I say, going to be ready for the woodworking shows. Lots of and up top we have our abouts and events and education contact shop. This is a search, brings you up a search bar. It's a great search. If you say something simple like dye, it will bring up everything that has dye in it, and then you can choose what you're gonna find in your dyes. So been a lot of work getting this guy put together. But we have great graphics in here. I've got the Easy Check jaws in here so far. and they all work great. Excellent graphics. So that's what I've been working on for ever and some change. And that's just about to come up, just about to come out and turn that guy loose. Okay, so our bowl is dry enough that we repaired, sprayed our lacquer on. So it's no longer got the silver to it. And one more goes, and we'll fix this guy up. So we're in the overhead. There's where we put our black again. I'll get the silver out. And I just need a touch of it. Just ever so little. So remember we had that big splotch there. Now as long as I don't botch this up, we can just blend this back in. And nobody's ever the wiser that we came back and repaired it. Okay? Just that simple. So easy, easy, easy. If you get carried away and you get too much color somewhere, too much chroma gilt on a piece, super easy to fix. Can't tell that it's any different than what the rest of it was at all. Okay, and I'll show you here in the end camera as well. You can't even tell that we painted that and repaired it. Okay. All right. We'll just set that guy right up there. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed today. I'm going to give you my deepest apologies for the start today. I don't know why things were messed up. It happens. What can I say? Don't forget that on the old site right now today is colorants. Everything that's in the colorants category is 15% off. The code is CC15. That's good for today. It's a Monday Method special. I hope you all jump in there, pick up some chroma gilt, pick up some WRU20. That's some great stuff. Web effects if you want to do these kind of guys or like that. Again, super happy with the way this guy turned out. I love those new colors. Can't wait till they actually have them out for us. I just love the look of that shimmer in that blue right there. So Art says it was a good day. Well, I made a day out of it, one way or the other. I never quit. I never give up. I always keep on charging. You just, when things don't work, you get in there and fix it. And we'll get up tomorrow and do it again. Friday again, woodworking show starts Friday and Saturdays for the next 2 weeks. There will be no Monday Methods next Monday. We will be in Florida watching a Van Gogh immersive art exhibit. So I'm going to take a little break and go have some culture for a couple of days between the woodworking shows weekends, and looking forward to that. Any questions? You know how it works. Email me, text me. Well, if you have my number, message me, Facebook Messenger, info@spirecraft.com. If you got any kind of questions about any of the products or any of the techniques, I'm always available. Happy to help you out and answer any kind of questions you might have. So on that note, I'm going to put this pretty piece back over here on the tabletop, hit the camera to overhead, and say good day. All right? Thank you, everybody.